When he was 30, he was winning major championships against young children. Now that he's 70, he still outdrives the kids, and sometimes, to amuse himself, he lets one of them win a skin. Visit with Arnold Palmer for a while, before his pal Gary Player drops by to wreak havoc on the proceedings on Golf Talk Live. Presentation of Golf Talk Live. It began as a faint rumble.
From Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
Like a small rock slide in the Allegheny Mountains of western Pennsylvania where he was born. He won the U.S. Amateur and met and married Winnie in 1954. He had no money, and there was nothing else he loved enough to try. But Arnold Palmer had dreams, and he began to make them come true. Palmer learned what little he didn't already know about winning and winning on tour. He tested the competition and adapted to the demands of each new course as he and the tour chased the warm sun around the country. The wins multiplied, and money and endorsements rushed in. There was a chiseled look to his face and body, as though he had been carved from those mountains back home. And as we grew to know him, we settled on his basic decency, win or lose, as the foundation of his strength, as the source of his appeal. We fell in love with his style, with his let's go for it today attitude, and if we blow it, there's always tomorrow. There's an unwavering set of values, an unquenchable thirst to win, a clear trail for us to follow. And there's a friend who wants only to break your heart and your wallet with the magnificence of his game. Welcome to Golf Talk Live, as this night and this guest mark the beginning of the 6th year of the Golf Channel. I'm Peter Kessler, and our guest, the most celebrated player in the history of the game, Arnold Palmer.
Hi, Peter.
I'm so glad to see you, Arnold.
Thank you.
And I apologize for not accepting your invitation to come over and lose all my money over at Bay Hill.
Oh, it's open.
I appreciate that. I'm going to wait till you're 80, and then I think I'll be ready.
Oh, no, we'll do it before that.
Arnold, I'm so sorry about Winnie. All of us are. And I think we want to know that you're doing okay and that you're going to be okay. Remember when she used to come to the show and she found us so fascinating that she never paid attention to anything we ever did? She would read a book, she would write a note, she would conduct business, she would knit, and at the end of the show, she would come and collect you.
And she'd be mad at me.
Why? The first time I was at your home, there was a jar with a red liquid in it, and the label said muddle mix. And Winnie poured some of that into a glass with some other liquid, and I haven't been the same since, and that was almost 6 years ago. Was anything in that legal?
Everything was, and it's a potion that is very good and keeps you young. you might try it some more, Peter.
Did you bring it with you?
No. I didn't mean that. Well, you might.
How did she put up with you?
That's amazing. Everything that happened, she had something to do with.
There was so much commotion around you always, but yet there was something about Winnie that let her handle all of that in stride, without commotion, and magnificently. What was it?
Well, she kept her cool. She knew me, and she knew how to handle me, and that was it.
She had awfully full life with very little regrets, didn't she?
Well, we had a great life, and part of that was that the things that we did. We were opposites to a degree. She was not a golfer, really. She enjoyed watching and she enjoyed seeing the game. And there were a lot of things. She did a lot of things that I did not do. She read a lot. I read sparingly, obviously. And don't laugh. And she took care of everything for me. She knew the right times and the right places, and she knew what to say at the right time. So after 45 years, you get to depending on that, you know, you sort of go along with it. And it was great. And today, it's a little empty out there. But it's getting better as time goes on, and she wouldn't want it to be any other way. Get on with it.
Seems like one thing that's going particularly well lately is your golf game seems a little bit better.
Well, yes. And she would say it's about time. Forget the years and all that stuff. It's still very important. And she knew that too. And I feel better about it. I feel maybe that and I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know how much I'm going to play, but it's certainly better. I'm hitting the ball. I got into a rhythm. A Tiger Woods rhythm. How's that?
That's a good rhythm.
And,
I think he stole it from you.
And of course, I could do a golf academy for you right now. But seriously, in the last month or two, I've been hitting some balls, and I feel like, and I watched Tiger, as a matter of fact, and maybe it's brought back some old feelings about my golf game that certainly isn't going to threaten him, but might threaten some of those old guys out there in the tour a little bit, I hope. But getting the club back and getting it up there and then go ahead and releasing it, I marvel at Tiger Woods' ability to release the club through the ball. I have not seen a player, maybe Nicklaus, maybe Player a little bit, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen anyone release the club through the ball with the club head speed that Tiger does, and it's free, it's flowing, and of course, if he has a secret, it's his ability to mentally handle it, but as well to get that club through the ball on line as fast as he does.
You know, Winnie knew that golf was going to be therapy for you. Golf has always been what you turn to. What instructions did she give you about playing golf? What did she tell you to do?
Well, therapy was making enough money to put food on the table, Peter. I mean, she knew we needed to do that, and we had a good time doing that. And from the beginning, it was tough. It was you know, golly, we used to sit around and watch the guys today playing golf and on the tour and see these $1 million first prizes and all that stuff. And we used to laugh over a cocktail or just in the evening talking about the game. And when I was winning tournaments in the early days, and I was, if everything went well and I won $2,000 for winning the tournament, that was great. But if I finished 14th, I won $100, and 15th was the last money place. We felt like we were in the money, and it wasn't bad. And we did enjoy that. We used to sit and just think about, my goodness, you know, there was 154 players playing for 15 money places in those days. First place was maybe $2,000, and last place was 15th, maybe $100. Now, I know that we've had some inflation, and I know that the tour has made some great strides, but that's pretty unbelievable when you think about it.
In 1960, you won the same number of golf tournaments that Tiger won last year. He won 8 PGA Tour events and 2 majors. To his 1 major, he won almost $7 million last year, which was more than Jack won in his whole career, against your $75,000 in 1960 for
Why
those
did
8
you have
victories.
to say Jack won in his whole career?
Because I was just trying to put the two of you in a category where Tiger
Well, it was
won.
a hell of a lot more than I won in my whole career.
I wasn't the one who said that. You said that.
No, you said it.
I'm getting out of this. I'm getting out of here. We'll be right back. For those of you who missed the final round of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am today, on Monday, we will re-air it tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on the Golf Channel from Arnold's Golf Course, Pebble Beach Golf Links.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Now look, if you...
I kind of wish, but it isn't bad.
It's yours now.
No,
It's
a
partly yours.
lot of people's.
Now, if you and I are sitting here together at the beginning of our 6th year, does this mean that the health of the Golf Channel is reasonably good?
Oh, the Golf Channel is fantastic, and I'm so proud of Joe Gibbs, #1, because what he did and how he got me into this and made it all happen, and to think that I've been chairman of this organization for going now into the 6th year, and watching what Joe Gibbs has done with this business is fantastic. And it's not just fantastic because it's golf. It's fantastic because we satisfy, and the Golf Channel has satisfied so many people. The one thing I hear a lot, Peter, is thanks for the Golf Channel. We have something that we really enjoy watching on television. Now, that may not sound like a big statement, but it is a big statement when you think of all the things that are on television today. And there are more bullets in my room, in the walls, than you can ever face, from guns going off and everything. The Golf Channel has a soft appeal to people, and not just golfers. And that's what I like even more about it. And of course, there's a business too, the business of advertising. And we are hitting the nucleus of that business. We're hitting the people that are interested in what we are talking about, and that's nice too. All in all, I give every employee of the Golf Channel just tremendous credit, and you, my friend, have done a tremendous job. And people talk to me about you, and how are we going to keep Peter on the Golf Channel? I said, I got a rope around his neck. I'm going to just keep him there.
Yes, you do. And you don't need to hold it real tight, because I'm not going anywhere.
Well, what you do is fantastic, and we all know that. And the people that work at the Golf Channel, the enthusiasm and the things that have happened over the last 5 years have been fantastic. And both Joe and I are very aware of it and most appreciative of it.
We're always trying to make what we do better at the Golf Channel, always trying to improve. What do you see down the road if something's going to change for the better? Will we get more prestigious golf tournaments, for example?
Well, now, Peter, you know me well enough to know I'm a dreamer.
That's why I want to hear a couple.
And I have all kinds of thoughts, and we try to get in rooms and talk about what might happen in the years to come. Right now, the Golf Channel is moving along smoothly. We got rights fees, we've got shows that are tough to do, but you just did something that, and this is competitive. Let's look at it from a competitive standpoint, and that is that some of the local affiliates didn't carry the Crosby today, or the Crosby. Am I dating myself?
Not at all. Most of us still call it that.
Well, the AT&T, if you wish, but the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, all kinds of names. But, you know, America is becoming more and more golf-oriented. Now, Oprah's great, and I love her, but here you had one of the big events in sports going on, and they avoided it. They went to another show. That is our opportunity. What you just said, we're going to carry that show, and we're going to give everyone an opportunity to see it. That's where we have, what little advantage we have over the big guys, it gives us a shot, and it gives us an opportunity to give people, see Tiger win his 6th tournament in a row. And I think that's wonderful. And that's what we stand for. We stand for people that like golf, want to see something soft and nice in sports, and see some competitiveness too, and don't think there wasn't a lot of it out there today.
You once said to me that you wanted to leave a path for others to follow, and that Jack followed that path. It seems like today that Tiger's figured out a way to combine a couple of yours and Jack's strength into one player. Keeps it in play like Jack, charges like you. What about the path that he's setting today?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, you think about it, he's 24 years old, and he's already got a path in back of him. And if he continues, and I can't see any reason in the world why he can't. You know, I was not playing professional golf when I was 24 years old. And he's drawing a line, and it's going to be tough for anyone that I see right now to touch it. And if he keeps his mind about his business and enjoys the game, which, you know, everyone talks about Tiger Woods and they talk about numerous things, but rarely do they talk about how strong he is and how well he swings the club.
And how much he's improved.
And how much he's improved personally. Now, he has made a tremendous improvement personally, and I am one of his biggest critics, and he knows that. But when he does the things that he knows that we think about and does them very well, it's only in his best interest, and he's doing them better, and he's getting better and better and better all the time. And you know, that's not bad. That's pretty good for golf because it attracts attention. He's attracting attention, and he has to know that, and he has to know how to handle it. And at 24 years old, that's tough. Believe me, that's tough, because you got a lot of things happening to you, and you got a lot of things you want to do when you're 24 years old besides play golf, let's say. So it's not easy, but he's doing it pretty well right now, and I'm not totally giving him a clean bill yet, but he's getting better and better about it.
As we go to break, let's look at a little comparison of your 1960 and his 1999. And as we mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, same number of wins, 8. Arnold won 2 majors, just missed the 3rd leg of the slam by a shot. First in earnings, both of them, and a very small disparity in the pay, $75,000 versus $6.6 million. We'll be right back.
In the early days, when I was young and had very little responsibility with respect to golf, I didn't have any nerves either. I just enjoyed playing. But, you know, when you win a few and you feel like you've got responsibility for keeping up a record, it gets to be pretty tough, and I did become quite subject to nerves then.
Like Jones, was it tougher for you after 1960 to win when you realized the expectations that everybody had for you to win?
Well, I don't think there's any question about that, Peter. I think that the more you do and the more the things that happen as time goes on, the more you are aware of what people expect of you. I think that it definitely affected me in later years because I felt a responsibility to win, and I felt a responsibility to play good. You know, I didn't want to hit a bad shot ever, and I didn't want to ever miss a putt that was important that I needed to make. And those things happen. Maybe there's something to be said for stopping early, like Gary and Jack told me they were both going to do, if you recall. You know, they weren't going to play after they were 35. I mean, geez, I can't imagine. Here we are, still out here playing with all this responsibility on our shoulders. And those old guys, I mean, Nicklaus and Player, God, they're old, and they're still playing.
Which says what to you?
Well, if I were as old as they were, I'd probably quit.
You know, you just talked about making all the putts in those days, and you did. In 1960, everybody said, the hole is scared of him, the ball is scared of him. Why were you such a great putter right then? What were you doing right?
Oh, I just had a driving desire to put the ball in the hole. And if you're too young to really know this or remember this, Peter, but you know, you think how many putts I ever left short of the hole in 1960. If I left it short of the hole, I choked or something went wrong in my stroke, because there was only one thing in my mind, and that was getting it in the hole. I never thought about knocking it 3 or 4 feet by the hole. That didn't faze me. So that was probably why I putted as well as I did. But so is true of most players. They don't worry about that are going to do something in the game. If you start worrying about getting the ball too far by the hole when you're young, you've got a problem.
Don't look at me when you say that. Let's talk to Bob in Illinois, who's got a question for you. Hello, Bob.
Well, not a question, and I don't want to take a lot of time, but Mr. Palmer, I just want to thank you. You probably remember spending a few minutes with our daughter, Cindy, who's a leukemia patient, back at Olympia Fields in '97. And if you never held another golf club in your hand, sir, you are the embodiment of class and dignity for this game. And we as a family have you in our prayers every night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So many people feel that way about you. How do you react inside when you hear that?
Oh, Peter, that's a tough thing for me, having gone through what we've just been through and seeing other people do it. We just can't get enough attention to cancer and cancer research. You know, everybody says, boy, you're on the Wheaties box top. And isn't it great? And unfortunately, Peter, not enough people look at what that stands for. And what it means is that I'm on Wheaties box, but on the side, there's a little coupon there. And if everyone that ever purchased a box of Wheaties would look at that side and pull that coupon off and send it to General Mills, they will make a contribution, and they're going to do $1 million to cancer research. And that's what I want to see.
We're going to take a short break, Arnold, and we will be right back and let you see the Wheaties box as we leave you for just a moment. Let's talk to Gord in Ontario. Arnold's being silly at the break. Forgive my giggling. Gord, are you there?
Yes, thanks, Peter, for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I'll be very quick. Mr. Palmer, as you enter your young 70s, what would you look back in your career? What would be the greatest contribution that you've made to the game of golf? Your opinion?
Oh, my opinion, I'm not sure that I've made it yet, but if I can go away leaving the tradition and the integrity of the game still intact, I would be very, very happy, and I mean that very sincerely.
How is the state of our game?
Well, it is fantastic, but we, like anything that is growing as fast as golf is, and of course the National Golf Foundation will tell you that we've leveled off in the last year or so, but we're growing, and more people are coming into it. And we really need, very definitely, to teach them to respect the game and all the things that have made the game so great, the traditions. If we didn't have all those things, there wouldn't be as many people out here following it as there are. So we need to really look at that. But right now, I would say that the business of golf is a bit tough because there are too many people in the business of golf. We need to let the people that know the business run the business, and we need to make sure that we keep intact the tradition, the dress code. I mean, people go out there half nude now and play golf. That bothers me. I like to see people dressed properly, and I like to see them feel some feeling for the game and meaning, again, and I go back, and if I repeat myself, I'm sorry, but integrity for the game and the traditions. I saw Koshner wearing a necktie this week. I don't think that was all bad. I thought he looked pretty good wearing a necktie. And that isn't something that we're all going to do, but I just would like to see that part of the game kept intact.
Let's see what Tony in Saskatchewan wants to ask. Go ahead, Tony.
Hi, Peter. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer, for the Golf Channel.
Thank you.
Number one, my best friend Twyla says hello to you, too. What advice would you give to a young player who is tired of playing as a casual and wants to get competitive and perhaps be another young Arnold Palmer like yourself?
Well, I was teaching my grandson yesterday, and I was giving him the best I had to give him, and you know I wouldn't give him anything else, but the basic fundamentals of the game, and practice them, keep them, stay with them when you practice, and don't change every time someone comes with a suggestion about this is going to make you play better. Just stick with the basic fundamentals, and I'm going to tell you that you can create in your own body and mind something that will last for a long time. But if you change every time you have a suggestion, you could be in very serious trouble.
When we come back, I understand you've invited a friend of yours to drop by. So we will introduce him and have a little chat with him and tease each other. We'll be right back with Arnold's buddy, Gary Player.
Hi, folks. I'm Arnold Palmer, and this is my partner, Gary Player.
Welcome, Mr. Player, to the show. It's wonderful to see you, sir.
Thank you, Peter. Nice to be on the show.
This is really your host. He invited you.
Well, that's nice.
Now, that was Challenge Golf,
Yeah.
when you two took on all the other two-man teams. Who carried who between the two of you in Challenge Golf?
Well, I don't think anybody carried anybody. I
That's
think
not what
that-
Arnold said.
Well, I mean, you know, there's always two sides to the story. I think we combined very well, and, you know, Arnold would sort of aggressively go for that flag at the back of the green with a 3-wood when I was taking a 3-wood just to get on the front of the green. But I've got to tell you one match we had, and that was against Mike Suchak and Bob Rosberg, and we won down playing the last hole, and Arnold's got a 30-footer, and he stands up there and he knocks it right in the hole, and man, I got such a kick. I ran up and gave him such a big hug. And then we tied the 19th hole and the 20th hole and the 21st hole. Arnold was in the trees and I was in the trees. Rosberg was like that from the hole. I knocked out 12 foot from the hole and hold it. Now we go to the 22nd hole, and Arnold hits this one iron, just like a dot, and he puts it about 20 foot from the hole, and Rosberg marked his ball with a coin, and Arnold holed this putt to win the match, and Rosberg took that putter very accurately and went swap, and that putter hit the coin down in the bottom of that green, and the greenkeeper saw me 7 years later. He says, we were scarifying that green, we found that coin right at the bottom. And I mean, he's still, every time I see him, he's so hot. He's never forgotten that.
You know, if I get either of you alone, you'll tell me, man, he got it up and down from everywhere, and you would tell me, Arnold didn't get it up and down, he just got it up and in on the first shot from off the green. Who was really better at that, Arnold?
Oh, are you kidding? If he couldn't putt and chip, he'd be in a gold mine in South Africa.
Wouldn't be all that.
God, are you kidding me?
And not as the owner of the gold mine.
No, he
Got it.
He'd have that lamp on the front of his helmet.
Let me show you something interesting. Look at Arnold's hands here. You don't know if you can see it on the screen. Now, Arnold's little finger is the exact same size as my index finger. Now, they're pouring the gold in South Africa. We're in this room. We took his mom and dad and Winnie and everybody, Mark McCormick. We go down the mine. We come in this big room. There's millions of dollars of gold, and this man says, well, anybody who can pick up this bar of gold with his hand may have it. So Arnold says, Muff, ask him if I can have a try. So I said, I've got a friend here from America. He's a golfer. Can he try and pick that up, please? He says, certainly. And Arnold puts his hand on like that and picks it up like that. This guy says, excuse me, sir, I only work here. Palmer said, you did work here. You gone, man. This is mine. Only man that ever picked up a bar of gold.
I started for the door, but they stopped me.
But you don't think that he stayed at 5'10". He never got taller than that because he was always bending over, man. He couldn't grow up. He had to stay bent because he's bending down, picking that ball out of the hole all the time. He was a one-putt and just... And I heard him admit it. He didn't know I was sitting there. He admitted it the first time I've ever heard him.
If you could have one part of his game, what would it be?
I think Arnold is
The whole thing. The whole thing.
You got a trumpet for him? No, I think that Arnold, I've always said that Arnold and Ben Hogan and Lee Trevino were the three best drivers of a golf ball that I'd seen in my career. Arnold very seldom drove the ball in the rough. He drove it long and he drove it straight. And even today at 70, you know, when you get to 70, you really are getting on. And I mean, you know...
Why was he out driving you every hole last week at the Skins game?
Were you watching the show carefully?
I tried to.
What were you smoking?
Anything that you left here last time you were here.
No, he drives it. At 70, he played, I thought,
Why do you have to keep saying at 70?
Well, I heard what you were saying about
At
me and
68,
Jack.
you're not doing bad either.
68? No, he's been a great driver. Great driver.
If you could have one part of that game, what would you take?
Oh, there's no question. Gary, competitively, desire. He has probably spent more time working and physically as well as mentally to do what he has done in golf. No question about it, whether it be putting, driving, irons, the desire and the competitiveness in him. I could take a few young players today, and if I could take his competitiveness and his desire to play and play good and his no give up attitude and put it into a few players that I see out there in the tour today, Lord knows where they'd go. And I'm taking into consideration Tiger Woods, although he has a lot of the same stuff. There are guys out there that if you just could get them to have that, the desire and the work attitude that Gary Player had, Lord knows how good they'd be. And I mean that. You agree with me, don't you?
Well, it's
Whether
nice,
you do or not, I've said it.
Now, I thought, just for fun, when we come back, it was true that in 1961 you were going for back-to-back Masters and helped your buddy Gary win his first Masters instead on the last hole with your play. The next year, of course, he was going for back-to-back Masters, and you did some things to upset him. And we'll take a look at both of those things as soon as we come back. Don't go away. Now, why don't we take a look at that fabulous last hole you played in 1961 at Augusta National, which I'm sure you're dying to see again. And maybe the both of you can tell me what Arnold's doing after he's accepted congratulations from George Lowe walking up the 18th fairway after a great drive. That is right, isn't it? And
That
you
is
said
right.
thank you,
That
and he
is
said
right.
terrific. And then let's take a look at the rest of it. Arnold needs par on 18 to beat you by a shot, Gary, and this is his third shot.
Well, you see, and Arnold had the club face, if you look carefully, open at that buried lie. And I mean, now we play the shot with a more of a closed face, or not quite as open. And that ball did skid, that club did skid right under that ball, if you see that.
Well, you're getting some look.
Terrible.
And now we're going to see.
I'm not going to say any more, but I will say something to him later.
Okay, we're going to look at 1962 in just a moment. Now, this is the putt to tie you, Gary. You want to announce over this for us, please?
Well, I'll tell you what, it didn't go in, but I tell you, Arnold didn't hit many bad putts, and if anybody was going to putt on the last hole for you, you'd like Arnold to have putted. But maybe he ran out of putts, you know?
Yes.
This was a happy moment
Many
for you,
times.
Arnold, right?
Many
Helping
times.
Gary on with the jacket was a delight for you? You're not even speaking to me now. Let's move forward 1 year, fellas, to 1962. And you're done, and Dow Finsterwald is done, and you're tied. Arnold's a couple of strokes behind, needs some birdies. Why don't we take a look at the incredible chip-in on the 70th hole of the championship?
Is this at 16th?
That's
yes.
at 16. Now,
I
you can
mean,
barely see the ball. It's moving from
you
right to
have
left.
to be up there to know that green.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of
Look
the
how
most
long he
amazing.
walks before he
This-
picks us up.
This was an amazing shot.
I think that really was.
Yes. I thought so.
And I'm 8 foot from the hole, and I've got him by 2 shots.
And so apparently, but now here's the next day. This is on the 10th hole of the playoff, the next day, the 3-man playoff. What happened here, Gary?
Arnold pushed it out to the right a little bit, but hit a perfect putt, as you can see. And I went just over the green, chipped back 5 foot and made 5. So Arnold going back in 31.
His tee shot to number 12 in the playoff.
Yeah.
He was most appreciative of the fact that I made 6 at the last hole the year before. And he was really trying to get even.
We see, you know, you're the classic salesman and marketer. You're still dressed in all black. You're known for the exercise and the travel and the bananas and the health food. You market just by breathing wherever you go. You don't have to do anything. But a lot of today's players think that they don't have to do any of that, that it's okay to play, pick up the check, and hit the road. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think, of course, the business of golf has changed. But I would like to see the players more interactive with the galleries, and I think it would only help them. But they, of course, have a point that it's big business. And when you think, as you said a little while ago, what did I win, 75,000, and Tiger won 6.6 million?
You didn't forget.
No, numbers are my game. Actually, it is a business, but I still think that it's a game. And I just wish we could stay in that thought that it's a game, and it'll always be a game. And if you could smile a little and have a little fun playing it, I think that's what it's all about.
We've got somebody on the phone who knows lots about sales and marketing on a golf and a personal level. LPGA player Laura Baugh. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Peter. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It's all yours.
Well, I'm just calling to say that Arnold mentioned integrity. Hello, Arnold.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, and hello, Gary.
How are you, Laura?
I'm fine, thank you. And I just, being an LPGA player for quite a few years and having children, and I just wanted to call in and say that both business and with their families, I just don't know two gentlemen that have more integrity and have done more for the game of golf than these two. And they are just, you know, in today's society, it's hard to find two men that have done more in everything. And I just wanted to say that I've seen them for a long time, and they're just great. they're just great for golf. And the older I get and the more I play, the more I love golf. And I really see my children loving golf. And they've done, they've kept up the integrity and the spirit of the game. And it's really a pleasure and an honor to know these guys.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah. And I know they're going to just keep playing great, and it's just great to see them. And I wanted to mention that because they are super.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your call, Laura. I listen to her, I look at your faces, and I realize that it's clear that this game means as much to you today, both of you, as it did when you were little boys. Why has the strength of that appeal lasted so long?
Well, the game of golf, first of all, I was taught to respect the game by my father. And look what it's given to me. There's no way in the world, Peter, that I could ever repay what golf has meant to me in my lifetime. Everything. I mean, my wife, my children, the enjoyment, the friends that I have throughout the world, and the people that I talk to every day. And I read mail from everywhere in the world. As I say, it's a walk of life that is fantastic, and it's smooth, it's cool for those young people today, and it will be that way. But we have to keep, and I'm sorry if I keep repeating this, we have to protect the game of golf.
Share with us, Gary, one of golf's embarrassing moments.
Well, I can think of one of the most embarrassing moments I ever had with Arnold.
No, you're not going to tell that story.
Oh, I've got to tell him this. But may I tell him exactly how it happened?
Please.
Exactly. I mean, I hope the viewers don't mind. But this is
but
as
they
if
would
you would
mind.
ever exaggerate.
Yes, they
wouldn't,
would.
But
because you did it.
We're playing in Japan, and we got a few Japanese visitors here this evening, so they would appreciate it. But we're playing in Japan, and some matches there, and bees do it, old people do it, young people do it. They pass win.
Gary, this is a golf show.
Hey, listen, I didn't interrupt you. No.
I'm going to continue to interrupt.
What happened to that nice programming you talked about before?
So no, we're playing there, and by mistake, Arnold bends down and passes wind and looks at me. Now he looks at me, see? Looks at me, so now what do? I mean, here's the great Arnold Palmer, just passed wind. I mean, looks at me, and this Japanese man comes up to me, he says, "Gomenasai, player-san. Player-san, no good you fought on TV show." I say, I don't know. That means, sir, I said, I don't know. Me no fought, Palmer fought. No, I see you. And he walked away.
Gary, I forgive you. I really do forgive you for that.
Well,
not so long after that, Gary was hitting a shot on television, and the commentator said, "And there's a strong breeze coming from the rear." We'll take a short break. We will be right back. Someone send this question in for the two of you to address, if you would be so kind. We keep hearing it's harder to win now because the fields are deeper, but haven't the great players always risen to the top, no matter who showed up to play? David Irwin.
Well, I think we're probably having more variety of winners now than we've had, with that exception of Tiger doing as well as he's doing. But I don't see any dramatic change in the trend as far as winners are concerned. You can go back to Walter Hagen and Sarrazin and Nelson and Hogan and just follow history right up through. And the good players, as you say, or the question says, they win, and it will continue to be that way. Now there's going to be people that are going to dominate a little bit. for whatever the situation may be. The Tiger Woods, someone will come along and be as good or better. And look at Nicklaus, you know, how great he was. Something that I often thought about that I would like to see, and of course this is the only way you could probably do this is on a computer, and so computers run our lives anyway, so we might as well accept it. But just put them all in a computer and have a big game and see what happens.
Speaking of big game, have you been invited to Augusta National yet by its newest member?
Who is the newest member?
The fellow who invited you here this evening, Mr. Palmer.
Oh, well, I mean, he's always giving us a good invite there. But let me answer that same question that Arnold did, seeing the man was asking us both to answer.
You'll have to make it quick because we're just about to get off the air.
You know, I always heard the young people say...
That is impossible.
Nobody will dominate the game today like it had been dominated by certain people in the past. And I said, well, that's a lot of nonsense. And Tiger Woods might be dominating the game more today than any man ever dominated.
True.
The cream will always rise to the top. The players are not that great that nobody's going to dominate at any time in life.
No more Japanese stories. It's time to say goodnight. Great pleasure to be with you again. Happy healthy New Year to you and to you, sir.
Same to you, Peter.
Great to be with you. Great to be with all of you. Good night, everybody.
Okay, Bob.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And partner, thank you,
Arnold.
very, very much.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be seeing you next week.
That's right.
Good.
Okay, Arnie.